This is a public service announcement. Big Girl Summer has officially begun. And big girls, we have abs. Look at that. Look at that. I know you see it. Fabs, honey. Stay sick. Stay mad, ho. Where my big girls at? Wow. Y'all see that there? I'm going to sew both of them together, baby, and pack all this shit up in there. Ass and all. This the front, this the back. Say it. Work it. I am big, beautiful, and loving it, baby. You better know it.
I actually want us to hold up a little bit before we do this thing where we start blaming ourselves. Like, I hate when people talk about Black women being obese. I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We're moving, we're taking care of kids, but our food quality suffers. We are living in the Trump era.
You're wrong. I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right, turn your listening ears on. Catch a bubble in your mouth. Good job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking or wakes up early in the morning or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all Black people in one group and saying, I don't like Black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So is... For those who don't know, 5'6", 308 pounds. All right. And I just want to put that into perspective using other celebrities that we know. And this is not to bash Lizzo. This is not to make her feel bad. But this is just so that y'all get an understanding of how outrageous it is to be 5'6", 308 pounds. That is morbid obesity. Okay. And that's going to come with a whole long laundry list or a grocery list of problems. But let's get into some of the celebrities. LeBron James, 6'9", 250 pounds. Lizzo at 5'6", 308 has LeBron James beat by 58 pounds at the height of 5'6". And we're supposed to just go, this is okay. DeMarcus Cousins, 6'11", 269 pounds. Lizzo has him beat. Floyd Mayweather, arguably the best boxer to ever fight. And I'm not, y'all argue with your mama. All right? Argue with your mama, because to me, the art of boxing is about being able to hit somebody without being hit. And in my opinion, he's been the best at not being hit while also delivering blows. But that's neither here nor there. Floyd Mayweather at a point in time during his competition, he was 5'8", 150 pounds. Lizzo is 2 Floyd Mayweather. So if Floyd Mayweather ate himself, she would still be 8 pounds heavier than Floyd Mayweather, than 2 Floyd Mayweathers. Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1", 324 pounds. Lizzo is just a hair shy of being the weight of Shaq. Okay, let's go back to the post. And what's up, y'all? What's up? Today should be a decent show. I had the little sound effects touch tune thing on the way. Y'all can hear me, right? The audio is good on y'all end, right? With the mic. Just making sure everything all right. All right. Let's get into it. I see this problem all too often, especially in the Black community, and we know, okay, we know about the stats, okay? We know 80% obesity rate. But how does this affect a woman's ability to date men, and how does this affect a man's attraction to a woman is something we don't talk about enough. The average dimensions, this is the average American woman, okay? The average dimensions, y'all can hear me, right? Just making sure y'all can hear me. Because I don't want to start dropping facts and dropping bombs and y'all can't even hear me because, you know. The average dimensions for an American woman, listen to this, because a lot of people like to say, oh, I got the curves and this and this and that. I'm just curvy. I'm big boned at this. No, that's obesity. You're fat. Okay. This is the average dimensions. And that's okay. And before I get too far into it, that's okay. All right. If you've eaten yourself into a hole, there's a lot of Americans that's in the same position as you, but you got to work your way out of it. Don't expect to eat yourself into a hole for 7 years and then expect results in 7 days. But let's get into it. The average size of an American woman is 5'4", 170 pounds, with the waist of 38 inches. That's round as fuck. Okay, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it because I'm really passionate about this topic because, as everybody know, I play rugby, so I'm really conscious about health, and I think it affects the community in so many more ways than we may know. Okay, who is to blame for this? When you ask people, when I ask women, and I have these conversations, and I review these videos because, as y'all know, I do all the time. I'm always digging in deep and trying to see what's going on. Who do I hear them normally blaming? Society. All right. Imagine being in a country that's so great that you can eat yourself into a hole. All right, because they blame society, but it's arguable that the very society that they blame is the society that keeps them alive. All right, in what period of time in human history could a person be 400 pounds and still be alive to complain that society, the very thing that has given you the abundance to get that big, blame society for your problems? For you eating yourself into a hole because we have an abundance in our society. And this is supposed to be seen as a failure on society's end instead of a failure on an individual's end. Okay, and that's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe we're in such a you're in the best country in the world. You can have a pizza at your house in 20 minutes. Leave the country, and that's not the case for a lot of other countries. It's not the case for a lot of other countries. And you complain because you've eaten yourself into a hole, and now it's society's fault that you feel bad about it. When your diet doesn't, I read a study when I was doing the whole Lizzo video. It did pretty well, so I'm assuming that what team do I play for? I play for the U.S. rugby team. That's why I'm always wearing the USA hat. That's why I'm always wearing USA rugby shirts and this and that. But anyway, when I was doing the research for the Lizzo video, even the headlines that are made in America is set to make women, is specifically obese women, feel okay about being obese. Okay, what were the headlines that I was reading? 95% of diets fail Americans. Not 95% of Americans fail at being disciplined and sticking to their diet. 95% of diets fail Americans. But blame society, okay? I guess society is to blame. That's one of the entities that's always blamed. Stress. This is why I recommend everyone leave the country. Everybody, if you have the chance to leave the country, do it. You will leave the country and realize that anything you think you got going on here, cakewalk outside of this country. Okay, outside of America, any problem that you feel like you have here is a cakewalk. I've seen 68-year-old women doing manual labor when I went to Kenya. Okay, and you want to sit and talk about how your stress is the reason why you can't keep your weight down. Everybody's stressed. Okay, hell, I'm stressed. All right, doing these videos all the time, do what I got to do. I'm stressed. There's a lot of pressure on me. You don't see me goddamn eating my body weight in mayonnaise to goddamn make myself feel better. If you're actually stressed and you want to feel better, look at the studies. How do you cure? What's one of the best ways that we know to relieve yourself of stress? One of the best ways, especially over long term, is working out. Okay? Working out and meditation are probably the two best ways you can relieve stress. Because when you eat food, it allows you to feel better in the moment, especially if you're on a diet. Okay, because now you're going to be even more stressed because you failed your diet. And when people do that, they say, "Oh, that's society making me feel bad." That's society making you feel bad because you failed to stick to your diet. Okay? That's not society making you feel bad. That's you feeling bad because you have a moral compass. And we're ignoring that moral compass and blaming all of our problems on society or on stress or whatever that may be. Okay. When you break your diet, that's going to make you even more stressed. Therefore, you're going to eat more. All right. Self-discipline is what it comes down to. Is discipline. And the next one that I've heard the blame be on is an idea that is completely, it's truly disgusting to me. Okay. And a lot of the times when we talk about the out of wedlock rate in America, when we talk about women not being accountable for their for who they have sex with, having sex with bums or having sex with men that they know are promiscuous. For example, Future, and I use this example all the time. After the first baby mother, any baby mother after that should have known that Future wasn't a good father and should have resisted laying down with him. They chose to continue. So in that case, that's one man being irresponsible, but that's 6 women after being irresponsible. But what I'm getting to here is when I was doing a live stream not too long ago, I think it was like 4 or 5 live streams back, I had a woman come on and we talked about we talked about obesity, okay? Because she brought up the fact that birth control, I was talking about ways that women can prevent from having babies by bums. I said birth control, and she brings up, well, birth control causes cancer. And I'm like, you know what else causes cancer or increases your risk of cancer? Obesity, which we have an 80% rate of in the African-American community. And I believe it's about 70 or 75 amongst all, or obesity specifically, I believe is like 40, 45. But overweight and obese, we're talking 80 in the African-American community, and we're talking about 75 across the board. Okay. 80 for African-American women. And I said, that is going to cause cancer. Not only that, but the number one killer of Black women in America is heart disease. Okay. And her rebuttal to this was, well, it's the men's fault. And this is the third thing that these women like to blame sometimes when it comes to their weight. It's the men's fault. And how is it the man's fault? She blamed culture. She blamed the song Baby Got Back. Well, what's the song? Is it I Like Big Butts or is it Baby Got Back? It's one of the two by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Y'all know what song I'm talking about. She said that women are obese today in 2021 because of a Sir Mix-a-Lot song. I mean, like, did you ignore the part where he says itty bitty waist? Because that part seems to go over everybody's head. Okay. And because a lot of African-American women in particular, okay, because this is women across the board. All races of women are starting to have this problem. This is a huge problem. And it's not just women, it's men too. But for women, your weight is your wallet. So it matters a little more for women than it does men. Okay. And it's for African-American women in particular, because they tend to have the hip to butt ratio. All right. They just happen to be blessed. And I love Black women. Y'all know I'm married to one, and y'all know how I get down. But because they are genetically blessed, they feel like they can just eat themselves into a hole. Okay. And oh my goodness, I'm so tired of seeing big women walking in the store with 3 big ass kids behind them. 3 big ass kids behind them, just like a duck in a row, just like a mama duck and the little ducklings behind them. It's just not good. Okay. It's just not a good look. It's not a good look. Really what it comes down to is a woman, and I'm going to open this up for anybody that wants to come in and have a conversation. This is just me doing a little monologue, allowing people to come in and hear what I have to say about this before we go into the debates, or if anybody has anything to say against this. I don't know how you could, because it's a pretty solid argument that if you're overweight or obese is going to affect your dating pool. Okay. But That's neither here nor there. Let's continue. Priorities is what it comes down to. Okay. It comes down to your priorities. What are you spending your time and money doing? Okay. The average American woman spends about $115 on makeup alone. Okay. That is not including hair, nails, toes, whatever else you want to do, the outfits, the waist trainers to make yourself look like you have those ratios that we talk about when you don't actually have those ratios. They're selling you a dream. All that little belt does is crush your organs. Okay, and it's momentary, and then you take that off, and it all hangs out. You look at these thick IG models that everybody say they want to be, and everybody want these girls have on waist trainers. Okay, those angles, that's not real. They take off those waist trainers, and I don't know if y'all seen the goddamn Squidward when he was in the Krabby Patty vault. That's what they end up looking like. Squidward in the Krabby Patty vault. You remember how all the Krabby Patties went to Squidward thighs in the Krabby Patty vault? That's what they end up looking like. Okay, so an average American woman is spending $115 on, like I said, makeup alone. That's not including hair, nails, weave, all this and this and that. All right. And it takes about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. My wife is a makeup artist, so I kind of know this stuff, but it takes her as a professional makeup artist about 30 to 45 minutes to do a face. Okay, so I'm assuming it takes an average woman that doesn't really know as much about makeup and hasn't had the practice of applying it as often. About what would y'all assume? About 45 minutes to an hour? Safe to say. If that time and money was spent on a gym membership, if that $115, instead of putting it on your face, you invested into your body, you went and bought a gym membership, which is probably about half the price, maybe 1/3 of the price of the makeup that you're spending per month, you could go and work out. All right. And the time it takes for you to do your makeup every day, or the time it takes to do your makeup to go out, or this and that, you could spend that time in the gym, and the results over time. It's an investment over time. Too many people want the now. Too many women want the now. Okay. A lot of women are just too lazy to get up and do what is necessary. I go to the gym and it's a sausage fest. Okay. I don't mind seeing the women in the gym. Okay. It's good. It's even big women when you're working out, you're trying to do better. I can tip my hat to that. I can clap for that when you're trying to do better. Okay. We need more women in the gym. And even when I do go to the gym and see women, it's often not the women that look like me, if I'm completely honest. Okay. So if you spent the money that you're spending on, yes, it is the path of least existence or resistance. That's exactly what it is. It's a microwave society. You want results now, so you're not willing to invest into your future. And what I've grown to learn is that the most successful people are the people that can sacrifice the now for later. Okay. Instead of buying the shoes now, you go and invest it into a stock so that it will increase later. Okay. So sacrificing the now for later is what is going to make you more successful, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue. But yeah, if you had the priorities, if your priorities were in place, you'd be fine. All right. And let's get into something that I have coined. Okay. This is a term I have coined. The gym has nothing to do, nothing but whites and Latinos working out. That is so true. And I hate to say that. I'm not against it, but it's the truth. When I go in there, I don't see women that look like me. I don't see women that look like me in terms of my skin color. Okay. But this has caused this glorification, because it's not even we're on equal scales now. Now there seems to be some kind of virtue in being overweight. It is especially by women, because that's who's promoting this idea. It's not men. That's for damn sure. Okay. But there's an idea now that there's some kind of virtue in being obese. Morbidly obese. We are putting morbidly obese people on magazines. Okay. One of the reasons why we put thin, ideal body types on magazines is because that is what people should aspire to be like. All right. We don't want to see no diabetes Batman. pushing to get superheroes to have a fat. Nobody wants a diabetes Batman. I don't want my son to aspire to be a fat superhero. I want my son to aspire to be somebody who takes on responsibilities. Okay. But let's continue. Let's continue with what I'm saying. The Lizzo effect. I've coined this term. I don't know if anybody has ever said it. It might have been said before. I'm not sure. So don't go and tell me your favorite red pill guy or goddamn your favorite whoever may have said this before. But the Lizzo effect. Lizzo is worth about $10 million. All right. But you can often find her crying on social media. And instead of women understanding that that's probably because she wants men like Chris Evans. She talks about being lonely on social media, but she openly says that she refuses to date men that are her size. You're 308 pounds. You're two Floyd Mayweathers. Okay. You're built like a bag of laundry is what it is. And it's just to be completely honest, because we have to get to the point where we can have these conversations. We're not even allowed to have these conversations. But let's go further into the Lizzo effect. Okay. She wants Captain America. That's the man she feels like she deserves. And it's probably because she has the mentality, and a lot of women are starting to get the mentality that they are like men. Women, your weight is your wallet. If you are a big woman, you're more than likely either gonna attract homosexuals, men that will sleep with you just because they understand that you're kind of financially leveled. Okay. So even if they may be equal to or more attractive than you, they'll sleep with you because they want to live on your couch and it's tax season. All right. Or you'll get lower to middle class or you'll get lower class or lower middle class men. All right. If you want to expand your dating pool, you're not going to be able to goddamn. The best way to expand your dating pool is to be thin. Let's just keep it a buck. All right, let's just keep it a buck because I'm tired of doing the whole thing where we beat around the bush and nobody ever gets the results. The fat thingy where we're fat, except it's not working. Okay, the rate is going up. I go to the store. 8 out of 10 African American women are overweight or obese. I don't know how many times people have to say that for that to resonate. That's if you line 10 women up, 8 of them will be overweight or obese. That's okay. Men, if you are a man, and this is the difference between men and women. All right. If you are a man, you don't have to be in shape as much as you do if you are a woman. The standard is just different. And this is where double standards come into play. And this is where we have to acknowledge the differences between men and women. There just are double standards. Men accept these double standards. We accept that we have to at 18 get a thing that says that we're going to go into the draft regardless of what we want. Men accept that we have to die and pay bills and we have to die for society. We have to pay bills. We have to work for society. We understand all of our roles and understand what we have to do. But for women, it seems that we have to tap dance around what women are supposed to do. One of the things you're supposed to do as a woman is stay fit. You're not giving your all in a relationship if you're not staying healthy. Okay. If you're not staying attractive to your man. That should be a number one priority, especially when you realize there's competition in the world. Okay. Stop trying to let these people tell y'all that you ain't got no competition as a woman. If you want a man, it's a competitive market. So you got to do what it takes. Just like you want that job, you go to school, you pay $60,000 a year. You do all this and this and that. You go do the job interview to get the job. If you want a man to pay all your bills, you expect a man to give up. Because that's what marriage is. It's a man signing a form that says you're worth 50% of everything that we may acquire in the future. Okay. Or in some cases, 50% of what I already have. That's what that commitment is. And for that, you can't even stay fit. If you're not doing it to attract men, at least do it for yourself. Okay. We could do a whole goddamn, like I say, grocery list of benefits of working out. I don't want to go down there right now, but when we talk about thin women and how they just attract more men and how this makes bigger women bitter. Let's just be completely honest. You never see. When's the last time you seen an obese woman get out of a limo? Somebody answer that. When is the last time you seen an obese woman get out of a limo? When is the last time you seen an obese woman in VIP? Is that not a sign to women that men want fit women? Men want thin women. And if you are a quote unquote thick woman, you have to have the ratios. But even then, you're generally speaking, not even going to obtain the men that you want. Because you look at the women that are getting catered to and high society. When I play rugby in San Diego, just a little story quick. When I played rugby in San Diego, we played in Chula Vista, that's where the location was, but San Diego was about 15, 20 minutes away. So we go out in San Diego. Anytime I looked over in the VIP, I would see and in one case in particular, I seen the biggest goddamn, I mean, this man was round as fuck. Okay. Like when I tell you he was just wide. I mean, I don't know what to say. He was big. He wasn't as a guy, if a dude looked decent. Let's keep it a buck. If a guy's a good looking guy. All right. He just wasn't that. Short, big, balding, all this and this and that, surrounded by beautiful, thin women. Ladies, your weight is your wallet. Okay. Nobody cares. Chris Evans does not care that Lizzo makes $10 million. All right? He doesn't care. The men that women say they want, a lot of the times don't care. Even average everyday Joes, we don't care about how much you make unless we want to live off your money. All right? If there's a man that cares about how much you make, he probably wants to live off of your money. Let's just be completely honest. But we don't care. All right. So this idea that just because you have the money, you're going to get all the happiness without putting in any work towards your own body is just ridiculous to me. All right. What are some things you can do before I open up the panel? I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in here. Let me go ahead and put the link in here quick. But what are some things? Next, I'm going to get into, so what are some things that people can do, women can do in particular, to get better? All right, just some quick things, simple, very simple things, because I do like to talk about some of the problems, but I also like to talk about some of the solutions, because I don't feel like it's very, I don't feel like it's very efficient, productive to only talk about the problems without talking about some of the solutions. Okay, so what can women do? What can men do even if you want to be better, if you want to be more fit, more healthy? Download a step counter. Okay, the average human being, the average American gets around 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. That's disgusting. Okay, when we were in the Sahara, when we had to go and hunt every day, we weren't only getting 3,000 steps a day. All right, we were running all day. This is what our bodies are meant to do. Human beings are one of the best endurance creatures on the planet because we run all day. That's what we do. Okay, that's how we hunted. We outran prey. And when I say outran, I didn't mean a sprint. We would track them for miles and miles and miles until they got tired. Okay, so the fact that the average human now in America is only getting 3,000 to 4,000 steps is disgusting. All right, our ancestors would be devastated. Okay, they'd be very disappointed in us. You need about 10,000 steps a day to keep the doctor away. Download a step counter. That simple. And your phone already probably has one. Or if you have a Galaxy, I use Samsung Health. I track my steps every single day, even as an elite athlete. Okay. Cardio and strength training. Make sure you're doing 30 minutes an hour or 30 minutes to an hour 3 times a week of cardio or strength training. If you're a woman, you don't want to get all strong and muscular, whatever how women be. If you're a man and you want to get strong and muscular, strength training. If you're a woman and you want to get just smaller, lose the pounds, cardio. All right. It ain't rocket science. Move more than you eat. Is that simple. 30 minutes to an hour, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. And just a little fun fact. When you get your gym membership, gyms bank on the fact, and the reason why gyms in America in particular are very, very doing well. Okay. The gyms in countries like Kenya, where I was, they don't do as well. All right. They almost don't exist because these people are active all day. They do manual labor jobs. Okay. But gyms in America, one of the reasons why they are so productive and they do well, historically speaking, obviously with COVID happening, they didn't do too well then. But they basically rely on you to buy memberships and say, fuck it. That's what they do. They want you to buy the membership because you're having a New Year's resolution and then go fuck it because they know that's what you will do. All right. These gyms will have thousands of members, but only have about 40 of them in the gym at a time. Okay. Gyms only work if you don't go. If everybody that had a membership actually went to the gym, they'd be shutting down. Okay. But so get a membership, strength training, do cardio 3 times a week, 30 minutes to an hour, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's not that hard. If you don't want to jog for your cardio, elliptical. It's easy on your joints. That's the little glidey thing where you go like this. All right. Get on there, put some headphones in, listen to goddamn Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B or whoever the people y'all listen to, and get it going. Watch a show. Watch some motivational video. I don't know. Watch Kevin Samuels. Watch me. Whatever you want to do. Watch MTR. Watch O'Shea. Shout out to all them brothers. Watch Anton Daniels. Shout out to all them brothers. Because this is male media now. All right. So this is for us men to have a voice as to what the problems are. For decades, women have always had the media because they were the ones staying at home and we understand the story. So media would just cater to them and pander to them and this and that. But elliptical. All right. Going back to the elliptical. That's where you can get a lot of progress. All right. If you don't want to go and do jog all day and it's too hard on your joints, your knees bad, get on the elliptical. All right. Intermittent fasting. This is the third and last thing. Intermittent fasting. If you implement these 3 things that I just said, and if you just came in, go ahead back and listen to them. But intermittent fasting. I do the 16-8 method. What does this mean? That means you fast for 16 hours and you can only eat for 8 hours out of the day. That's my typical diet. Right now, I'm doing an extreme version of that called the OMAD diet. That is 1 meal a day. All right. So I eat essentially, I fast for about 20 hours and I eat once a day. But the 16-8 is a great start. When you look at in biblical terms, when you talk about Jesus, when he wanted to, and I'm not going to go down a whole rabbit hole, but when he wanted to focus mentally, when he needed to pray and he wanted to better his life, he would fast. When you look at Buddha, he would fast. Every major religion speaks highly of fasting. Okay. For some reason, it has been a forgotten art amongst Americans. Okay. But it's important. 16 hours a day fast. Typically I eat 10 to 2 or 2 to 10. I'm sorry. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I fast from 10 p.m. all the way to 2 p.m. the next day. All right, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., I eat about 2,000 calories a day for a man. If you're a woman, about 1,600 calories. If you need to go and get a calorie counter, you could do that online to find out specifically for a person that's built like you how much you need to eat. It's that simple. Okay. I'm going to open this up for anybody. Let me go ahead and pin to the top. Make sure y'all get them likes up. I don't think we got enough likes in here. But I'm going to go ahead and pin this up to the top for anybody that wants to talk to me or debate with me about women being obese and this being a solvable problem. I don't really see how you could have an argument for that. But if you do, because I always underestimate how crazy people are. So let me go ahead and pin this to the top. Anybody can have access to this. And let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue about it if that's what people want to do. Drink your water. Stop drinking the soda. Okay. It makes a difference, people. It makes a difference. Let me go ahead and let me show. Hold up. Let me pull this up real quick. Because I got something that really shows just how much of a difference it can truly make. Let's see. Let's go to this. I posted this today just so I could show y'all how much of a difference a diet, just a simple diet, simply on your on how you look, just how a simple diet can change everything. All right, let me go ahead and share this with y'all real quick. Quick little video time. 1 second. It's only a minute long, so y'all have time to go ahead and, because I think that this is important. I think that this is really important for people to see, because a lot of people just don't get it. This is what this is the difference between if you're overweight or obese versus when you work out and you're trying to be healthy towards your lifestyle. Okay, just look at the difference in the confidence that these women have. All right, let's take a look. And right after this, I'm gonna have people come in and we're gonna have conversations about overweight and obese and this is. Let's look at the difference in these women and tell me that weight doesn't matter. Which woman out of these women, in terms of the before and after, do you think is going to get the man that she wants in a competitive environment? Let's just come on. Like, how? I don't think that people get it. Okay, I don't think that people get how different it. Look at the difference in that woman. These are entirely different human beings, and all they did was choose a healthy lifestyle. Sacrificing your now for later. Sacrificing your now for later. So important. Different people. It doesn't matter though. Fat acceptance says everybody's beautiful, and your weight doesn't matter in terms of who you attract. All right, let's go ahead and open up the calls. We got a couple people in the building. Anybody else that want to come in? Anybody else that want to smoke? I guess we could talk about anything y'all want to talk about in terms of what I talk about. If you have any complaints, any concerns, questions, whatever it may be. If you need advice on your diet or problems that you may be having with your diet. If you want to rant about how you have these conversations with your family members and they just don't get it, you can go ahead and call in and we can have a conversation. Let's make it brief and quick though, because I already got a lot of people in the call room. I'm assuming that that this is going to be a pretty packed day. So make sure y'all hitting that like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. Yo, what's going on?
So I used to be military. I just got out probably about 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I was the sergeant in charge of dealing with the people that had injuries and the overweight people. The issue I found a lot of times was that they couldn't decide to get their weight down after the injury. A lot of times I couldn't figure out why. So once I got out, I took it upon myself. I just wanted to figure out why when you get bigger, you don't decide to change yourself. So I actually let myself go on purpose and gained about 30 pounds to myself. And then after I gained that weight, I took my pictures and then I went on, the athletic journey.
Right. And
found the biggest issue with going from a big weight to a small weight was the mentality and willpower.
Right.
You hear it a lot of people talking about inner demons, if you will. So they have their so-called inner demons is when I first started reworking out again. I started with running a mile. That's what I was starting off again, running a mile. Literally getting out the door was literally the hardest part because I was making excuses for every single thing. All right, I can do this tomorrow. Oh, I might get a little tired. I can do this. I made every excuse in the book to not get out that door.
Bingo. Getting up and getting there is half the fight. Okay. And a lot of people, it's accepted now to give up. It's accepted to say, oh, I'm just going to be fat because of my genetics, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's accepted to just say, I'm going to accept what life has brought to me, and that's ridiculous because that's against everything that humans have been about throughout history. You know what I mean? Like our journey, our whole being, our existence has been saying fuck you to nature, saying regardless of my situation, I'm going to find a way to go further. So it's really disappointing to see that there's so many people that have gotten to the mindset where they just say, let's give up. You know what I mean? And there are certain problems where people do have disadvantages. Me, myself personally, when I ran track, because I ran Division I track, they wouldn't even let me lift weights because I would put on too much muscle mass. And for track and field, you want to have a thinner frame so you can move down the track. Obviously, is power to weight ratio. That's what moving fast is. Okay, so I have the genes also to be fat. If I look at a cookie, I gain 300. I gain it's 300 calories. If I look at a cookie, I can just breathe in the fumes of fried chicken, and that's 600 calories for me. So I get the struggle, but it also takes the discipline to get the results that you want, and that's everything in life. And so it's just so disappointing to me to see that so many people have quit. And there's a problem. Actually, before I get into that, I wanted to say that for anybody that's listening, there's a video on YouTube where it's called, I think, Fat to Fit, or From Fit to Fat and Back, or something like that, where there's pretty much a guy and he does exactly what you just said you did. He's a personal trainer, and he's so sick of hearing so many people complain and not get the results that they want when they just don't show up. They stop showing up. So he goes on this journey. He gains like 100 pounds or something like that. And then in 6 months, he eats himself into 100 pounds. So he's eating on purpose to get big. And then he loses the weight in another 12 months. So in 18 months, he went up 100 pounds and then lost 100 pounds back. And if you do it in a certain way, you can make it so that your skin shrinks with you. Okay. If you do it the right way. So
yeah, I agree with you on that. And then the very last part is just it's funny how you were talking about fasting, because literally the last 4 days mine's more extreme. I ate literally nothing for the last 4 days, and only water and Pedialyte. That was it. Water and Pedialyte for last 4 days, just to get the last little bit off of me. And of course, during that time, you got to understand, you have to work out during that time. So yes, I had no energy to work out, but I had to force myself to work out, because these last 4 days was just me, like almost like a detox almost, because it was nothing but water and Pedialyte, to understand that fasting, you get, I won't say enlightenment, but you look in yourself and you get to see a lot of things about yourself, because you're not intaking
You're
a lot
not
of
eating all the exactly, Neo. That's one of the things, like, people don't understand the biology behind it. They don't understand things like insulin, and when you eat insulin, it puts you in a sleepy state, so now you have less energy throughout the day. Historically speaking, we only ate very separate and very, very proportionate, number one, and very distant meals. We didn't know when the next meal was coming. So people would fast for hours and hours and hours on end. And when you fast, your brain goes into overactive mode. Your brain goes into a starvation phase where it understands that it has to find food. And so you get a spark of energy and an emotional, or like a brain sharpenness. I don't know how to explain that. You just get sharper between the ears because your body's telling you need food, and historically speaking, that meant you had to go and find a way to get it. So your body gives you what you need if you just make sure that you take care of it. It's that simple.
Yes, correct.
But let me go ahead and get somebody else in. Yeah, I appreciate the story, man. That's and I actually heard, before you leave one more time, I actually heard, and I wanted to know if this is true, that a lot of the armed forces are having a hard time recruiting people because there's so much obesity and overweightness, or there's so much obesity and overweight people in America. Is that true? I
won't say so. We still get a lot of. It's harder for, I say, more so the female side than the male side. With the male side, it's more so they are thinking about allowing it for the tech side, if you will. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Neil, for coming in and dropping some knowledge on me. Let me know your story, man. Let's go ahead and get to somebody else. Appreciate you, man.
No problem.
It's that simple, y'all. Putting on your shoes and getting outside is half the fight. Okay. And just like everything, and men too. Okay, and this is specifically for the men. I had somebody come in here and say, men are 70% of men are overweight too. Okay, I get it. Reason why I'm talking about women specifically is because it affects them differently. Okay, it affects the choice in the dating market they have. And what I've experienced is a lot of women who are overweight or obese, they'll have access to men still, but they don't get that the men they have access to are either there for their money or they're there to smash and dash. So they go, oh, there's no problem with the weight for me. I got my DMs full, this and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but do you have anybody that wants to be with you? Okay, that actually has a job that works. Because yeah, you could get a guy that, if you want a bigger dating pool, if you're a woman, if you want to get those higher value men that a lot of women say they want, you're not going to do so if you're overweight or obese. It's that simple. And so a lot of times I get women that have sex with these men, and then they complain that the only thing a man wants is sex. Okay, this is the ugly friend now. Okay, so the ugly friend telling the pretty friends that all of these men, all they want is sex, this and this and that. When no, that's just your dating pool. Because the men you have access to only want sex. So it changes with the anecdotal evidence that a lot of women like to use. They don't like the generalizations. They like to use stories that they tell each other because this is how women communicate. You get a lot of this, all men ain't, or all men just want sex, this and that. And it just comes from the fact that that's your dating pool. Okay, so it's just different when it comes to men and women. It simply is. Like, I don't know how to put that for you. It's just double standards. They exist. Get over it. Keep living. Whatever. Randy, what's going on, Randy?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Blessed up from Jamaica. We've been tuning in. We've been watching Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, and also The.Poor.Mans.Podcast. So I got here, me and my brethren. We're looking at the same thing here in Jamaica. A lot of the women and men are obese, and it does affect their dating pool. It does affect them mentally and physically. Because the other day, my mom had to go do surgery for fibroids and stuff. And it's not even the fact that she's now eating properly. It's the fact that they're not understanding what they're eating. The calories, the yeast, whatever. Because you have a lot of women are even 18 years old, and they got this pouch in front of them. And that's from the yeast. Oh, I just want something nice. I just want to feel good. Yeah, you're going to feel good. And then when you're in your 50s, you're going to have fibroids, high cholesterol, sugar, diabetes, and my grandma lost 2 of her legs. So tell me something.
Yeah, and Randy here, it truly is. I asked one of my wife's friends. Okay, well, actually, no, this was this was back in Little Rock. So this was a person that I knew in college. I asked her because she was a little bigger. And I just wanted to know, I was just, I went around the table and I asked, how many calories does this have? Okay. And everybody was like, they read the back, they read the label. They said, oh, this has 240 calories. This has 240, but it had 4 servings. So like their understanding of calories and understanding that you can only eat 2,000 calories a day, it wasn't there. All right. They think that they're eating 240 calories when in all actuality, you're eating half of your daily calorie content. You're eating almost 1,000 calories. So it's just a lack of understanding as to what's going on. And I completely agree with you. It's the lack of knowledge. No one's talking about it because it's seen as no problem. They think that men, they say, well, men want curvy women, and that not like that though.
Yeah,
we like some curves, don't get me wrong, but them ain't the same ones.
All right, since going into the whole manosphere, Kevin Samuels, even your podcast, I have certain rules with my girl now. Your stomach should not be bigger than mine. Yeah. Rule number 1. And that's not a case where, it's your genes. Now, I have big women that did javelin, shot put, and they're big, but they don't have a belly. They work out, and workout doesn't mean, you got to bust a sweat. I give my girl ballet moves. I even have to do them because I do customer service and I sit in a chair all my life. So my hips is basically messed up. So doing little stretches, keeping fit, doing a workout, even in the middle of working, actually keeps your mind actually alert and straight. And you made mention to fasting. It is true. When I went on my fast for like a week, my mind got so sharp because I was so hungry. There was no space for any failure. I
Yeah.
would chew someone's head off because guess what? I'm in the state of survival mode. And a lot of people don't understand. Fast so that you can get the outcome. A little bit of sacrifice here and there will give you that outcome.
That's what it is. It's everything that gets you further in life is sacrificing now for later. That's everything. Anything that you want, anything to go further in life, you're going to have to sacrifice now for later. If you're working out, you're suffering now so that you can live a healthier life later. If you're investing your money, you're not being able to spend your money at the restaurant you want to go to because you're putting it away so that it acquires more money later. That's pretty much all it is. And I appreciate you for coming on. We got so many people up in here, Randy, that I'm going to go ahead. But I appreciate you for coming on. But what you said is 100% true, man. I completely agree.
All right, myself from Jamaica. We'll be in contact.
Yes, sir. Here's the thing. He said that I believe it was his mother that was the one that lost both her legs. Okay. And we know this. Okay. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen the Boondocks or if y'all seen the movie Soul Food, but there's a guy who in the Boondocks, a kid that's called Huey. And he spoke about the importance of a diet and how African-American culture in particular is very hypocritical when it comes to the diet. Okay. He said in the movie Soul Food, you had a big, the movie Soul Food, pretty much the premise is, for anybody that hasn't seen it, is there's a big mama. Okay. Big Mama pretty much feeds her family every week. She does the whole Sunday dinner thing. And you know that African-American food happens to be very high in fat and sodium because we were given the worst parts of the animal when we were slaves. So a lot of our traditional foods aren't the best for you. Okay. But so she would feed her family every week. And this was how she pretty much showed her love, to overeat every week. As a result, Big Mama ended up losing one of her legs. Okay. And then she ended up dying from stroke or heart attack, one of the two. I'm not really sure which one it was, but it was because of her diet. And to celebrate the memory of Big Mama, instead of learning the lesson that we got to do better with our diet, they celebrated Big Mama by going back and eating every Sunday, continuing the tradition. So somebody's next in line. Okay, this is how the hypocrisy in the community is. Like we just, a lot of people don't get it. Okay, a lot of people don't get it. I don't want to keep it. I got people in here, but I don't really want to make it long. I got stuff to do today. We 52 minutes in. So I'll probably go ahead and call this one early, but y'all get the idea. It ain't rocket science. All right. It ain't goddamn rocket science. If you're a man and you goddamn, if you stay fit and you stay healthy, one of the best things a man can do is staying fit in his 30s. If you stay fit until your 30s, all them women that you thought you didn't have access to in the past, they going to be knocking at your door. Because hardly anybody does that anymore. Hardly anybody is fit in their 30s anymore. Okay? Like they just give up. Stay fit into your 30s if you're a man. If you're a woman, obviously, if you stay fit, you're going to have access to more men because you look more attractive. It's that simple. Y'all seen the pictures. You've seen what it looks like before and after when a woman loses weight. They don't even look like the same person. All right? So it's very simple. It ain't rocket science. I don't need to beat the dead horse here. Okay? We got anybody in here that's overweight or obese that may need advice, okay? That may need some advice as to what you can do, or anybody that wants to challenge me at the idea that men want fit women. Anybody want to challenge me on that? Because I got people in here, but they don't nobody really look like they want to have that smoke. All right, because I don't really think that's arguable. But Jordan, let's get Jordan in here. Hey, Jordan, what's going on?
What's going on, man? So I deal with African-American female clients often, at least 3 times a week. And we're having these conversations about weight. And I had a young lady that was talking to me about her significant other was challenging her to get in the weight room, work out, just be fit. And she took it as a negative thing. And I said, okay, well, why are you taking it negative? And she's was basically saying that when she compares what her significant other is challenging her to compared to her girlfriends are basically like, you're perfect no matter what size you are.
Yeah.
And so there's this message being perpetuated by the women that you're beautiful no matter what size you are, and if the man doesn't accept you, something's wrong with him.
Well, see, the
And
thing
that's
is,
a big issue.
Jordan, here's the thing. Women know. They're in on it. Okay, but what women do is because they live in communities, this is how women survive. They can't survive without a person to depend on. So they live in these social communities amongst each other, but to stay in those social communities, you can't offend one another. So a lot of the times, to avoid conflict, women will just say to their friends that, oh, it's okay, it looks fine, you look good, everything you're doing is fine, and so they pretty much pander, because that's naturally how women conversate. That's naturally what they do. They're more empathetic. They're less likely to take risks.
Exactly.
All these things equate to you telling your friends that they're okay when they're in a position that they're not okay in. You know what I mean? So I completely understand. I agree with you. I hear that all the time too. And a lot of the times when you hear this fat acceptance thing, these are not men that's doing this.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. That's the issue that I challenged them on is, okay, ma'am, your girlfriends are telling you one thing, but who's selecting you in the dating market? Your girlfriends or the potential men? And she says, okay, well, the men are. And I say, okay, what do the men say? And it's just crickets. It's quiet. And I'm saying, and I tell her, exactly. That's what you need to pay attention to. Your girlfriends are supposed to be a support system. They're supposed to tell you positive things, but there seems to be a lack of accountability in girlfriends being honest, holding each other up to the highest standard.
And that's why there's a undeniable balance between men and women, because when you have a mother, your mother is to make you feel better, but your father is to make you, or to help you get the results that you want. So if you're overweight and you have a mother, and this is why I'm so sick of seeing the big women with the big kids, because they allow it to continue to happen because they're empathetic, instead of telling the children or putting these children on a certain diet and not allowing them to have every snack that they want in the house. That's why there's like a balance. So and men's part of that balance is usually appreciated later in life. You know what I mean? So like, while father will tell you, you can't have these snacks because you're getting, this is out of hand, this is becoming a problem. That because you're sacrificing now for later, you don't get that until you're older. You know what I mean? You don't grow to appreciate that until later on in life. And that's just how it works. So when you get whole groups and communities, now that the internet is a thing, you have hundreds of thousands of women in one place telling other women that it's okay, basically doing what mothers do to children, and what girlfriends do to other girlfriends, telling them that it's okay. It's destructive. And they don't understand that. Like, they think that it's truly destructive. And when you come in and you say anything as a man now, this is how we've been divided. We've been divided to the point where we can't have conversations, because if I say anything to a woman as a man, it's a part of the patriarchy. It's me trying to control her. You get what I'm saying?
It gets labeled, and then automatically anything associated with it gets tossed out. I also add that I'm going to go ahead and say, I think there's a level of sabotage to it. Because when I ask these women, okay, what does your girlfriend look like? And they say, well, she's fit. Okay, so if a fit girlfriend is telling a out of shape girlfriend that you look beautiful no matter what, I mean, you can go off what she says, or you can go off how she lives her life. Does she go to the gym? Yeah, she do. Okay, ma'am. Well, has it entered your mind that she could potentially be setting you up for failure? Because if she tells you you look beautiful no matter what, even though you're gaining weight, but she's working out, that would tell me that she's setting you up for you to have less options and her to have more. Because, when girlfriends go out, they go out together, and they know that men look at you in the group and they select which one out the group they keep their eyes on. So if you big and she not big, who do you think these men are looking at more? And who does that benefit?
There was a study that showed, it was an experiment. It was a social experiment that showed if you're an unattractive person, or if you're say you're a 5, or let's say you're a 7. The best way to look like a 10 is surround yourself with 4s.
Exactly.
So I completely,
and girls do
I
this
could see
all
how
the
that
time.
I could see how that would be a thing. When women go out, we like to act like it's friendly because they don't like to be open about their competition because that creates conflict. But that's what it is. It's a competition. It's life. A lot of life is competition, is what it is. And if you're a single woman and you out with a whole group of single women, y'all competing for those men's attention. And if you the big one of the group, yeah, and you know the big one of the group, they always the one that's trying to keep the attractive friends away too. Yeah. I've seen too many times where men will go up and approach women, and then the big friend coming out of nowhere talk about, she gonna hang out with us, she gonna be with us.
Exactly.
Like,
The cock blocking the girlfriend. Exactly.
cock blocking the attractive friend. That's pretty much what feminism is at this point. It's cock blocking, blocking the pretty girls.
Single women keeping other women single. They want company. They don't want to be alone. And women, like when I talk to black women, this never crosses their mind when they think of their girlfriend. Your girlfriend could be keeping you single because her options are lower, so she doesn't want to see her best friend find a man and get married and go off and have children and have her own house and then be without her. That's not what they see. That's not what their ideal goal is. They'll say it. They want you to live your best life and be happy. But some women need to wake up and properly assess the information that they receive versus what they're seeing.
Right. And women seem to be worse at reading envy than men. And maybe that's something that's natural, because men, we know that we're in constant competition for access to sex. That's pretty much what it is, like historically speaking. Access to women, that's what we're in competition for. And we know that like innately. But for some reason now the lines, what'd you say?
I said, you're exactly right. We accept. We shake hands before we go into the bar. May the best man win. And if you're a real man, if you win or lose, you shake hands and you move on.
I completely agree with you, Jordan. I got a few more people up in here, Jordan. Let me go ahead and get on. But I really appreciate you for sharing that, because I truly think that you right. I think you're right with that. Let me go ahead though, Jordan. Appreciate you.
Real quick.
Leo, what's going on, Leo?
What's up? Okay, so I want a lot of other brothers to speak today. But the solution is obviously our women need to get in the gym. All right.
Yeah.
But so I did a very informative video on my guy Surge, and here's what I do. I love to promote people who are doing really good things. And on his platform, this video's got about 63K. If y'all go to YouTube and y'all go type in 6-year ex-vegan, that is going to be my video. It is 2 hours plus long. Very beneficial and informative information for men and women. All right. If you got a damn debate and you want to say something about it, Hidden Perspective Podcast on YouTube is our channel, and you can comment there if you disagree. All right. But for the most part, you'll see this picture right here. Mm-hmm. All right. That's the video. Very informative information for y'all.
And make sure y'all show Leo some love. He's really supported the channel. He sends a lot of people our way. He does good work too. And from what I've seen in my conversations with him, he seemed to be to know what he's talking about. So I'll probably check that out too. I didn't know you had that video up, so I'll probably end up checking it out too.
Oh, I want to say this before. I was actually doing some work as soon as you went live, and I went on my platform, and I was in some other people's that it's got 2,000 people watching them. And so I asked the question, and I said, hey, ladies, what do you think about actually, no, that's not what I said. I said to them, should women be concerned that men want them to be fit? And her reply, as a Black woman who's doing really well on that platform, was, what about all the other women that are fat in other races? Why are you just focusing on us? Major Hall of Fame deflector shields is just activated right there. And then she said, I had to say this because she instantly said, well, you're a fucking average looking guy with fucked up teeth, and you're trying to fucking tell women what they need to do. Okay, so you're saying, first of all, men know where they fall. Yeah. I say it all the time on my fucking stream. that I'm an average looking man. But
That's
the
fine.
good news is women ain't picking me based off my fucking looks. They want to know if I have the character traits of a man that is a high earner.
Exactly. And the thing is this. The thing is this. Women will act as if men are shallow for wanting a woman that is fit. If you say that, they'll go, "Oh, you're shallow, you're this and that." But yet they judge men based on how much you make. And we understand that, and we go, "Okay, so I got to make more if I want certain women." But women never internalize what we're telling them in terms of us wanting fit. It's very simple, truly. If you just stay fit as a woman, the world is your oyster. Like, you don't have anything to worry about. Like, truly, like, with so many platforms to benefit from just sex, okay, just being able to sell sex and having innate value, having a vagina, having a womb, this and that. You already have value. All you got to do is not blow it. It's that simple. But some women, they just don't get it, man. So I appreciate you for coming on, though, Leo, man. Shout out to Leo. What was that one more time? 6-year vegan?
Yeah, 6-year ex-vegan, and that video is going to come right up. All right?
All right, bro. I appreciate you for coming on.
Jordan, the guy that was previously on, did you see my comment? That's my
co-host?
that's the host. Yeah, that's the co-host.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna go check y'all out over there.
He's more the host. I'm actually the co-host. So yeah.
Okay, so he the host with the most. You the co-host.
Yeah.
All right, Lee. I appreciate you for coming on.
Yep.
Yes, y'all go check him out, man. 6 years vegan. Go look that up. See what he's talking about. He makes some good content, man. It's delusional to pretend that obesity is healthy when diabetes, heart disease, inflammation, and other health problems follow. The media screams follow the science, but ignores what obesity brings with it. That's simple. I mean, and it's not rocket science. Your body, your heart. Think about what your heart does. Okay, your heart beats 365 7 days a week. All right, it's 365. All right, it never gets a break. If it gets a break, you die. That's how it works. All right. And your heart has to provide blood flow to your whole entire body consistently. If you have fat, your heart still has to supply blood flow to that fat. So it has to work harder to give it to allow your body to do what it's supposed to do. Your heart has to work harder. How is that going to affect you long term? It's going to increase your chances of cancer. It's going to increase your chances of diabetes. It's going to increase your chance of heart disease. It's going to increase your chance of stroke. It's going to make it so it's harder to sleep. Okay? It's going to make it so it's harder to date. It's going to make it so your quality of life is worse because you can't take the stairs anymore. You got to take the elevator now. Okay? You forget what it feels like to walk, to be a human. And now you're like the little things on Wall-E, just sitting in a chair, being fed and being goddamn and looking at entertainment. And all you got to do is make the decision. The best part about the human body is it's so adaptive. It's so adaptive that you can correct 7 years worth of damage in a year. That's how adaptive the human body is. But so many people just won't ever do the work. They'll complain. They'll blame it on society. They'll blame it on men. They'll blame it on culture. They'll blame it on their girlfriends. They'll blame it on stress. They'll do this, everything except for saying, I am fat because of me. If there's one thing you have control over in the entire world, it is your body, at least while you're alive. Okay. So if you show that you have the utmost control over your body, but you're not taking care of that, what are you going to do when you're dealing with something that you can't control as much as you can control what you put into your body? All right. It just shows a lot, man. We could keep getting into it, but let's go ahead and get somebody else in here. Hey, Alex, what's going on?
What's up, PMP? Big fan. But yeah, this whole Lizzo thing, let me say it trust back. Me, I do not find Lizzo, Cardi B, or none of these other women attractive. The only ones I do find attractive are the ones I grew up listening to. Beyonce, Brandy, and much more. And everything. Those women know how to keep themselves in shape. And at the end of the day, like, females gotta understand, like, you want a guy that's 6 feet tall or us have a six-pack. We want the same thing. We want men that are athletically fit. Like, one of the shows I grew up watching was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Wait, did you say you said you want men that are athletically fit?
No, I mean, If
Oh, I
you,
was about to say you wildin', Alex. I can't get behind that, dog.
chill out. I'm just saying, if and when women want athletically fit men and yada yada yada, we want the same thing. I mean, money, we don't care. I don't care about a woman's education. If you got that, cool. But be healthy. Be the things that a man wants. Because I promise you, in the long run, men will value that and be like, okay, I see you doing good. I see da. I'm going to put a ring on it or whatever. But you can't just go out here looking all big and thinking a man's going to approach you. And I can't do the same thing either. I do my best to keep myself in shape, and that's hard.
If I can't provide a certain lifestyle, I don't expect women to be beating down my door because we understand the rules to the game. If I look a certain way and I understand that I'm overweight, obese, this and that, we get it. We don't expect women to come after us. But women, for some reason, they feel like they're going to get longevity out of a man. They're going to get a relationship out of a man whilst not caring about themselves. I don't get that logic, but it's so common. It's so common, man. It's really sad to see. But let me go ahead and get somebody else in. I'm trying to roll through everybody to goddamn, give everybody a chance, man. I appreciate you for coming in, Alex.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's the thing. Men, we have, and this is why a lot of middle class and this is why I say a lot of lower class, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Sometimes blue collar working hard, I get it, right? Or sometimes just completely broke. And in which case you got to figure something out if you're a man and you completely broke. You're gonna have a tough time in the world. But this is why they will end up, that's why they don't mind dating overweight or obese women, because they understand that they only making 30 a year. They only making 30 a year, so they're gonna get a 30 a year woman. Okay. And they may build up into this position where they go further and they make more. But in the time where they're dating when you look at Kevin Hart, 5'4", dark skin, in a time where it was cool to be light skin, nowadays, dark skin is in, it is what it is. You get, but when you look at the time frame that Kevin Hart might have been growing up in the time where light skin was in, you look at the women that he was dating. Derek Jackson, before he got popular, look at the women he was dating. He had the body, he had the looks or whatever it may be, but because he realized he didn't have enough money, he didn't expect women to knock down his door. He didn't expect it. Plain and simple, if you work out and eat healthy, you live longer, look better, feel better, and gain more opportunities. That's 100% proven, and I completely agree. People like to do business with people they think look better. People like to be around they think that they think look good. People like to. It's just something that is undeniable, and now we're getting to this point where we have to deny basic truths. Okay, where it's cruel to talk about basic truths. And quite frankly, a lot of black media is doing pretty well with it. A lot of male media, because we understand it's nonsense, it's basic truth. We're doing well because of basic truths. That's all this is. Every guy in here gets what I'm saying. Okay? It's not goddamn rocket science. Truly. I mean, let's go ahead and get a couple more people in here and let's keep it going. Watch how you eat, but don't overdo it. Skinny ain't cute. That's the thing, yeah. A lot of times when I have this conversation as well, before I get the next caller on, it'll be Lee. Lee, you in next. Appreciate the super chat. But a lot of times I have people come in or I have this conversation with people. They'll say, well, I don't want to be skinny. I don't want to be anorexic. There's a big difference between what you are and being anorexic. Let's be honest. I mean, it is what it is. There's a big difference between what you are and being. There's a lot of wiggle room before we get to anorexic, before you know what I'm saying. All right. You can't be built like my brother, like he's saying right here. Can't be built like a damn pillowcase. And you can't be built like a pillowcase and expect that doesn't matter how much money you make as a woman. If you don't look a certain way, it's going to be very hard for you to get a man that makes a certain amount of money. Okay. It's just your weight is your wallet. If you're a woman, it's that simple. All right. In simple terms, your weight is your wallet. All right. Let's get Lee in here. Lee, what's going on?
Hello. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for being out there, for being part of this culture. And you're doing a great job. So I want to say that, first of all. There's a couple of things some of your other guests had to say, such as every woman is beautiful in her own way. That's really not the case. It's what you settle for. I think that's what a man is trying to say when he says every woman is beautiful in their own way. It's what you settled for. And I also want to say that about as far as can we control obesity? I don't know, but I know we can control what we put in our faces, what we put in our mouths, what
Right.
we eat, the activity level that we live with. We can't control those things. So whether obesity or whatever is even a thing. What it's what you do. What that woman consumes is what she is. What you consume is what you are. So if you're consuming
Exactly.
all this junk, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be junk. So that's
How it
all I wanted
works.
to say. That's what I want to say, man. I don't want to keep any more of your time. Again, you're doing a great job. I'm a supporter. Keep on going, bro.
I appreciate you, Lee. Thanks for coming. But yeah, like he said, the men get it. We know if we make 30,000, we ain't gonna get a goddamn model. All right, you ain't gonna see a man that makes 30,000 unless he looks extremely good, unless he's a 10. All right, he ain't gonna see no man approaching young Tyra Banks or if he making 30 a year. All right. And the only reason he would have to look extremely good, and that's because she wants a homosexual. She wants a homosexual. She wants a guy that looks good to have on her arm as an accessory that she can show off. Okay. So some rich women will do that because they understand that they don't have the body type that's going to get them the man that they want. And when we say something like this to a woman like Lizzo, just so that we can clear the air, because what people, and it's not Lizzo in particular, because a lot of people will come on and they'll say, why do you have a thing against Lizzo? Stop hating on Lizzo and this and this. It's not Lizzo. It's not obese people. It's not personal. Okay. It's a mindset that we have to eradicate. Okay. I'm not saying, kill all big people. All big people are the worst people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have the potential to do better if you want to. It's a choice. And allowing yourself to sit back and say, I have no decision in the matter, even though it's your own body. What kind of ground does that lay for anything else you want to do in your life? You truly believe that with your own body, you can't control what's going on. I mean, I just don't get it. All right, let's go ahead and get Baby Hulk in here. Let's see what Baby Hulk got to say. That's a hell of a name.
Well, shit, around here, it's well learned. I used to box and whatnot, but yeah, man. I think part of the thing is too, to add to that, is just the overall laziness, right? Because one thing is, I'm a big proponent of people staying fit, and when you look at people who are obese, right, to me that's like the physical representation of you being lazy, like in the flesh, right? Because you're not taking that time to take care of yourself. So a lot of modern women today, especially Lizzo, and the reason why she's so popular is because they identify with that. The hard work, the responsibility, then again, that comes with it. It's something they don't want to deal with, right? So they go on and they support people like this. Even Lizzo, you got to feel sorry for her, because in a way, she's kind of trapped, right? Because she has to buy into that frame, and if she doesn't,
she's built her brand on fat acceptance. If she loses the weight, they will kill her.
You can tell it's eating her alive on the inside, because she wants to change. She wants to be something different. She wants to be someone else, but she can't. So you have these weird cryptic posts that she puts on Instagram or whatever, and then the next minute she's acting like she's all right and whatnot. But we all know that you're suffering on the inside. Part of her understands that even if she wants to be different and she knows she needs to be different, she can't, because she's built up that. And that's the problem when people relegate themselves in labels and corners and stuff like that. It can be very difficult for you to break out of that,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And the worst part is we pretty much have to watch it happen.
Yeah.
And her fans aren't allowed to tell her that she has to do better. And that's just the ones that would want to tell her that. A lot of them, like you said, just resonate with her. They just feel like, oh, I'm in that same position. And so this is what I'm just going to accept. Like, this is the community that I want to be a part of, because they understand my quote unquote struggle. It's a decision.
I saw a video it's a viral one, right? There's this it's a fairly large lady, white lady, and she goes into a Target and she's pretty much complaining about, how they don't have the right plus size clothes and things like I'm talking about this meltdown. She was not playing. Like, she was serious. She was hooting, hollering, and whatnot. And you go in the comments and you see some other plus size women who are just like her, who are supporting the exact same thing. And then you look at it and you're like, wow. Like, the response, like you guys are treating this like it's some kind of discrimination where you can change at any time.
Yeah,
you can be different at any point in time. So this isn't something. So this is, it just shows you that level of lack of responsibility, because you're responsible to your body to do that. And if you, even just looking at how large Lizzo is, that's a huge problem in itself already. But you're not confident with your body, and you're too lazy to do something about it. But you'd find it much easier to complain and blame and make. And this is the problem. They try to change reality by making or trying to force companies like Target to supply more clothes like that, rather than change it from the inside.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you how the unhealthy mindset of a lot of women here today is. It's just they would much rather have the world change to fit what is their inside versus the other way around. And it's very sad.
And the thing is, the problem of that, because I don't care if you want that. The problem with that is it's actually starting to become a thing.
Yeah.
Like, the world, like you said, is actually beginning to change to accommodate for these things. They're like the dress sizes are starting to change to make women not feel as bad.
Yep.
Companies are doing that to make women not feel as bad. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Instead of them going out and, like you said, getting better and doing what it takes, that's not what people want to do. Path of least resistance, microwave society, and say you want to put on makeup, you want to put on lashes, you want to put on weave, but the thing that'll make the most difference is using that time that you're doing those things and the money you're doing those things to go get yourself healthier. That'll make the most difference. But don't nobody want to hear that, though.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just, what do you think in terms of changing this around, in your opinion? Where do you think it starts from, and how do you think we should go about it if we want to take society in a new direction? Because the way I see it, we're entering into a new era. So it's one of those things where we can either make it for the better or make it for the worse. But what do you see this all going? How do you see this all playing out?
I think that we have to stop. I think to make it at least to counter where we're going now, I think one of the first things we got to do is stop glorifying it. And I'm not saying that means you have to hate people that are fat. I'm saying that you have to stop making it seem as though they are powerful or strong or more beautiful because they are fat. So we got to throw that out of the window right away and stop giving folks attention for things that they don't deserve attention for. There are people doing amazing things in real life. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have to make up things to make it seem like other people are doing things that are not. It's nothing virtuous about being fat. And I think we have to educate people.
Right.
But I think people really have to know, like, a lot of people don't know how, and I talked about this earlier, a lot of people don't know how to count calories. Right. They don't know that when you look at a Snickers and you got the king size Snickers and it has 2 servings, it says 240 calories, but there's 2 servings of 240 calories. Right. So it's actually 480 calories. Like, they just don't get that. So it's just a lack of knowledge. People don't know what it takes to stay healthy sometimes. And it's really sad to see, especially with the women, because it affects them so much more than they could ever they would ever think. Right. So it's just people just got to do better. But that's the problem, is you have to rely on individuals to do a lot of the things that will get society to the place where it should be. Mm-hmm. And a lot of individuals nowadays have gotten into this state where we can just say something is out of our control due to an entity that we can't identify. Mm-hmm. So let's just give up. You know what I mean? Right. Like out here, and this goes for a lot of things. This goes for even black folks with white supremacy. And I'm not trying to, I understand it's a thing. I understand this is very real. We've had struggles, but that doesn't mean you can just give up and say, okay, we're going to stay here. Same thing with weight. If you're having your struggle, that doesn't mean you can just give up and say, I'm just going to be fat. That's not how you get better in life. This is not going to ever work.
It's the liberation from the slavery of the mind, because people don't really understand. Because I worked in finance for a while, and one thing I realized that when you're working in the whole world of debt, it's a whole new form of slavery, right? I can have you physically in chain, and I can have you forcibly going and doing work for me, or I can put you so badly in debt that you're going to have to go to work and do all this stuff anyways to come and pay back. And even then, you still have have left over. But there's another form of slavery, which is the slavery of the mind, right? And this stuff can be done through like media and stuff like that. Especially women, they're very susceptible to that kind of mentality. But also what you mentioned too as well, when we talk about slavery and we talk about, oppression and things like that, where if you keep thinking about stuff like that, it really does impact how you see the world and even making connections with other people. And one thing I understood, even with us Black folks, is that we tend to stay with our own and we don't tend to go over to support, not other group, but like, network with other groups and other things like that to really grow. I noticed that some Black folks, they tend to stay to themselves. And it's like, the world's not like that. You can't see those people as just the other just because. You got to go ahead and interact. And one thing you understand when you interact with other people, you get new perspectives. And that's what life's all about.
That's the most powerful thing about traveling.
Exactly right. You got to travel because you see things from different perspectives. You see, and man, I'm telling you, if you go to the rest of the world, it's different. It's different. Matter of fact,
so different.
Man, they will look.
It makes you feel ridiculous for even having gyms. Exactly. Like the fact that we even have gyms. And I'm a gym goer myself, so I love gyms. And there's certain things that if you're an athlete, so there's certain things that I need access to that I can't get elsewhere. Right. So I do enjoy them, but I'm like, when you go to Kenya, they don't really need gyms. There's no business for gyms there because everybody's already doing stuff, manual labor all day.
You have your body weight, you're moving around, you're doing heavy labor and things like that. And I really think that's what a lot of people should start thinking about doing is, getting out and not even say traveling to another country, but just go to a different state, states. I went to Kansas City once, man, and the whole atmosphere was totally different from Wisconsin, where I'm from.
Different cultures.
Totally different from.
You can, because I'm in Minnesota.
Texas,
I can go to Minnesota. You go right over to just Chicago. It's a whole different world. And like when I was in England, because I was in England, and then I traveled to France. One of the things I realized is I drove 3 hours and I was out of their country. One of the best things about America, and I needed a passport to do so. And if I lost my passport in France, I wasn't able to return to England. One of the best parts about America is it's so big as a country that we have a lot of variety. You can get the cold in Minnesota, or you could go down and get the heat in Texas. You can get the beach in California, or you can get the beach in Florida. And it offers so many different perspectives. So it's really sad to see, but I appreciate you, baby Hope, for coming in and having a conversation with you, man. We on the same page, brother. We on the same page.
We are.
Appreciate you. Okay. I ain't afraid I'll approach any woman, because this was when I was talking about men understanding, and you hardly ever see men who make about 30K trying to approach a woman that is out of his league in terms of his finances, because we generally understand what we can buy. Okay. And so someone said, I ain't afraid I'll approach any woman rich, making 30K a year. It's about confidence, knowing yourself. Money is not the end all be all. That is completely true. But your longevity in that relationship, how long of a relationship it will be, if a woman looks a certain kind of way, you may get to bed. All right. If that's what you're up for, if that's what you want to do, that's up to you. But in terms of maintaining a relationship, it costs money to maintain a relationship. Don't let money matters. Okay. Don't let that, it ain't the end all be all. I agree, but it matters a lot more than people, especially poor people, like to give it credit for. So yeah, we got a couple more viewers. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out in a little bit after we get a couple more people out of there. Houston, Texas in the building. I seen a super chat. Let me go ahead and get up to the super chat real quick. All right, because I think that was JT. I think that was, or was it JT or? Oh yeah. Pocket watching with JT, real accountant. Shout out to him. All right, we need more brothers like that. More brothers that's teaching Black men about finances. All right, one of the disappointing things about my culture in particular is our worship and understanding that money matters, but our lack of caring. Okay, so we got all the songs in the world that worship money, talk about how much it matters, talk about being able to change your life with money and this and that. Yet we're so irresponsible sometimes with our money. Okay, and I'm not saying that's everybody, but I see that so often. And it's just kind of counterintuitive to me. I just don't get it. Yeah, somebody said, let me see. Somebody said, ask Chris Evans what's wrong with BBWs. Exactly. You got goddamn Lizzo trying to get at Chris Evans. Come on now. Like this is how far the delusion has gone for a lot of women. And you can't tell women that, no, that's not how that works. or they think that you're a bad person. Like you're just, it's ridiculous to me, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. What is your thoughts on land ownership? I think land ownership is very important because I think it's important because it ain't going nowhere. Everybody gonna always need land. That's something that ain't going no damn where. And if you talk about inflation, money can go up, money can go down, but that land, the value of that land is gonna move with the value of inflation. So yeah, I like land. My thing personally is stocks, though. I like stocks. I like cryptos in particular right now because I think that there's potential for a lot of growth in cryptocurrency. It's very volatile, but I mean, me personally, I like cryptos, but I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not trading daily. I get that's what some people like to do, but I buy and hold because there's only 14% of Americans that are into crypto right now. And so I know that number is going to be higher. So inevitably the value of a lot of the cryptos is going to go up. So 65K subs coming soon. Appreciate that, sister. Appreciate that. I'm happy you picking up what I'm putting down, man. I have too few women on here, and it's just crazy because it seems as a lot of women want. This is okay. I'll say it like this. This is the beauty about what's happening now. Okay, with the internet, men are able to have conversations that we've always had amongst each other, real time. Okay, like y'all are sitting here real time listening to me have a conversation about something we all know. Okay. And for decades, women have had these platforms that were catering to them and pushing a certain narrative. All right. And now men have that. And it's driven, like you see the reaction with Kevin Samuels, all the guys that we understand it. We get it. Every guy in there gets it. It's very simple. It's simple. We all get it. Okay. But for some reason, some of the basic things we say, and I don't agree with everything Kevin Samuels say. I don't think anybody should agree with everything anybody says. Okay. You should always look at things from a critical lens, but for the most part, he's right with a lot of his ideas. Okay. And a lot of us cover a lot of the similar talking points in the red pill community. It varies a little bit, depends on who you talk to, but for the most part, we can have the same talking points or similar talking points. And I mean, it's just basic knowledge. I mean, it ain't rocket science, but for men, we understand those basic truths and we accept those basic truths going on in life. But for some reason, for women, it's mean, I guess. So like, I don't want to get too far into the language thing because I could take that down a whole nother rabbit hole in terms of us losing our freedom of speech and being able to have conversations. And that's allowing for things. Okay. Let me, and this is kind of going to go on a little different path right now. One of the things I've seen in particular that really showed how freedom of speech and us controlling speech has affected us was a transgender woman. So a man that used to be a man, now he's a woman, is allowed to go on to the Olympics. He's going to compete in the Olympics this year. Me as an Olympic level athlete, me as an athlete that has represented America on the international stage on multiple occasions, well-traveled, I get it. Okay. I understand the difference between a man and a woman. And most men, most common people understand the difference between the physical aspects of men and women. Men have denser bones. Men tend to have more narrow hips, which allows them to kick harder, which allows them to run faster, which allows them to do certain things that women can't do. One of the reasons why a lot of female soccer players have bad knee problems is because their hips are wider, so their knees come in, and they're more susceptible to tearing ACLs if they have to cut left to right. They're not as agile. So we get these differences, but we're not allowed to say, and this is what happens with a lot of the conversation, even with obesity, you're not allowed to have the conversation. So the only people that can speak are the people that have an extreme idea, an idea that makes no sense. So how this is manifested is there's a transgender woman that's allowed to go into the Olympics this year, which is absolutely ridiculous. There's a woman that grew up her whole life wanting to get into the Olympics, and she missed that opportunity because we aren't allowed as regular common people to talk about how there's a difference between a transgender woman and a naturally born woman. That's how freedom, and I think people see how it's being taken away from us slowly but surely. Okay. The original word for a person that you thought was stupid was an idiot. Okay. That was the medical term. It was an idiot. People started calling their friends idiots when their friends did stupid shit. All right. So they changed the word to moron and they said, you can't say idiot. All right. Now the word's moron. Then people started calling their friends moron when they did something stupid. So they changed the word to goddamn retarded. Probably just lost all my monetization because you can't say that word no more. All right. So you just take little by little until we can't even have a conversation about what is really going on in the world. Okay. Or you're a transphobe or you're a woman hater, and it's just regular common sense. It's common sense to know as a woman that if you're overweight or obese, it's going to affect your dating pool. So the access to men you're going to have is going to be, generally speaking, you never seen a fat woman get out of a limo. All right. You never seen a fat woman in VIP. So they're going to have lower access to men. And what this does, because of anecdotal evidence, it changes their opinion on all men. Okay. So now, because the men that they deal with only want to have sex with them because they're overweight or obese, they go back and tell their friends that all men are just want sex out of every woman. And it's just not true. If you look a certain way. If you're a single mother, also, it makes it a little harder in the dating market. These are common sense things that we're not allowed to talk about, or we hate women, or we're demonetized on YouTube. Shout out to all the donators, because, this is really what keeps us going a lot of the times. We're getting into a weird spot, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. And we're getting into a weird spot, man. You see people being, this is another thing too. You see human beings being separated more and more gradually, but surely. Okay. You got companies like Amazon, and this kind of going off, but you got companies like Amazon supporting minimum wage. Well, why would a company like Amazon support minimum wage? They don't want to pay their customers more, or they don't want to pay their employees more. Well, they're doing that to shut down small businesses, because they know small businesses can't afford to pay people $15 an hour. They can't afford to pay people $20 an hour. So what you do is you campaign, you take a virtual signal to the average American, and you say, we're for people getting higher wages. But people don't read between the lines and understand that Amazon's a business. They're not going to do anything that negatively affects their bottom line. It's that simple. So we just go along with it and not understand what's going on. Same reason. Why does Amazon supported the BLM movement? Okay, and everybody got their opinions on what it did or whatever it may be. But one thing that it definitely did is it shut down a lot of small businesses, closing down the competition. How many malls do you see that are empty and hollow now because of policies that big companies are pushing, and you see it as a virtue signal, and you think that it's going to get you better results, and you don't understand the true meaning behind why they're doing it. Like it's so simple. Like, and it's so sad to see that it's happening. Okay, and slowly but surely, don't go outside. All right, people want to kill you, even though the murder rates across the board are lower than ever in historically speaking. Don't go outside. Stay in the house. Stay in your box where we can control you, where we can monitor you. Don't communicate voice to voice. Just do it on social media. Okay? So if you say something we don't like, we can silence you. Okay? So we're getting into this point. Men and women don't even want to be together anymore. Pretty soon, you're just going to be a person in a box. That's what a house or apartment is. You're just a person in a box on the grid, easily monitored. Don't go nowhere because Amazon will bring it right to your door. Just get fat. Don't go outside. Don't breathe. Don't look at you. But I'm going off now because it's really sad to see what's going on, man. And a lot of it stems from the fact that we can't have regular dialogue amongst each other, or we're going to offend somebody. That's a part of life. Being offended is it's a part of life. It's a basic part of life. Let's go ahead and get another call in here. Chromac, is Chromac there? Chromac, what's going on?
Hey, man, how's it going? Greetings from Ireland.
Good.
Dude, love the show. I've been listening to you for a little while now. Big rugby fan as well. Just wanted to say to the guys, you want to find yourself a fit and friendly woman, man, join a rugby club. Join a tag rugby league.
Yeah, that's good fun.
Good fun, and they're great fun. Rugby girls, great fun.
I completely agree. What did you have anything to say as far as overweight or obese women or?
Yeah, man. I write wedding speeches for a living, so I deal with a lot of grooms, deal with a lot of best men, mothers of the brides, and brides themselves, man. A lot of brides I deal with, they tell you know how much weight they'd lost, to get to the wedding pictures, and you could maybe meet up with them a year or two later, man, and they would just have to let it slide. They would put so much effort into getting fit just for that one day, just to get fit just one day, just for the wedding pictures. That's all it meant to them,
And a lot of the times it's just because and truly what a lot of it is because it's the day that you're allowed to be narcissistic. That's what a wedding day is. It's one time in a woman's life where she's allowed to say, I am the only thing that matters, and nobody gives her any flack for it. Everybody look at me. I get all the attention I want. And there's nothing that, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing anybody can do about it. So I do see that a lot too. A lot of people will do all that to lose the weight for the wedding. But when it comes to the marriage, the weight comes back. I think women on average gain around 7 pounds in the first year of marriage. So.
And dude, I just say this one thing as well, man, because I've noticed I've been doing this for about 9 years, working full time at it, and I'd say if women put as much thought into marriage than they did into a wedding, just that one day, and applied those principles in their life of what they do through their organization, of everything that they do to make that one day perfect. If they apply that to their lives, that same focus, that same determination, that same thinking about all of the things, thinking about the future, because like women are thinking like 100 things. There's 100 things in their heads on the day of a wedding, things that could go wrong, a car could break down. All the crazy shit, man, women think about is unbelievable when it comes to a wedding. And yet then they don't put that into marriage.
No,
they don't,
because when they watch the movie, when they watch Disney, it ended at the marriage. They just say happily ever after. When the work starts after the wedding, that's where all the work starts. I mean, you could get to the wedding. That's easy. Okay, that's a cakewalk in comparison to what the actual marriage is going to be like. So. But Carmack, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I got a couple other people in. Let me go ahead and get to them.
All the best, brother. Take care.
All righty. Yeah, man. It's a crazy. The world's getting crazy. World's getting crazy, but don't say anything, y'all. Don't talk about. Yeah, I'm not gonna go down this road. I'm gonna sound all crazy. I'm gonna sound crazy as hell. This is supposed to be red pill conversation. People, I already know. Lots of folks, man, oh man, people just don't get it. So it's so much manipulation going on in terms of policies that are being created. And I could go down the rabbit hole, but I just don't want to. All right, because I don't even think people are going to get it. I don't think most people are going to understand what I'm picking. I don't think most people are going to pick up what I'm putting down anyway. So we'll just keep it at red pill and hopefully, whatever. All right. Whatever. But yeah, actually, I'll probably call this one a day. I got stuff to do today. What time is it? Oh, it's 1:30. Yeah. All right, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for coming in. I really appreciate everybody who sent in the super chats. It's always good to have y'all and be able to talk to y'all, man. Having 500 people in here, that's it's amazing to understand or to have that many people that actually care about what I'm saying. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Till next time.